What's good, y'all? 2016, no need for an intro. We in here live. Oh, it's light good. Everything's good. Yes! We're doing a review of what? The Son of Batman. The Son of Batman. Now, for those who don't know me very well, or not really that familiar with my channel, don't listen to a lot of my videos or whatever, I love me some Batman. Okay? I have grown up. Batman is one of my all-time favorite characters. Arguably the greatest anti-hero of all time. And so when we're dealing with Batman-oriented material, y'all know I'm going to be critical. Okay? That junk better be on point. You better get the characters right. You better get Batman, Bruce Wayne right. You better get, if you're dealing with, whether it be whatever Robin, dealing with Dick Grayson, if he's Nightwing, okay? If you're dealing with Jason Todd, Tim Drake, in this case, Damian Wayne, if we're dealing with Batgirl, okay? If we're dealing with Barbara Gordon, if we're dealing with Commissioner Gordon, if we're dealing with Bane, the Joker himself, Two-Face, Harvey Dent, you got, Penguin, Oliver Cobblepot, whoever else, Mr. Freeze, you name it. If we're dealing with the characters, they better be on point. The storyline better be on point, okay? Everything pertaining better be on point, so understand that. Now, The Son of Batman, and I know it came out like 2014 or whatever, but I get around to things when I get around to it, right? Number one, it was a good movie, to say the least. You had, when I mean a good movie, that's the first important part. Is it a good, bad, or just horrendous movie, or a non-movie? Because there are some non-movies out here. It was a good movie, first and foremost. It was well put together. It actually had a storyline. I'll get more into, the level of how good it was. It had a storyline. The plot was concise, which is what you need in a movie. Unless you are clearly doing a series. Well, even in a series, you need a concise movie. Okay? You need the movie to make sense in the world and or universe that it deals with, especially if it is an established world and universe, okay? You need that. You need it to be realistic. It doesn't matter if it's fantasy, it doesn't matter if it's sci-fi, mystery, whatever the genre may be, it needs to be realistic. It needs to be believable. Doesn't matter if it has a bunch of superpowers and, magic or anything else. The story itself needs to be believable. Relatable, that's more subjective, one can argue. But it needs to be believable, okay? The animation needs to be on point in various factors. In all those areas, The Son of Batman hits, it really does. So I would recommend it, especially if you are a Batman fan. Now, when it comes to the plot, okay, first of all, the exposition, the background, okay, we got background, where a lot of movies miss or don't do well. We start off with Damian Wayne and his mother, and as well as Ra's al Ghul, okay? Excellent point. We start out with the League of Assassins / League of Shadows, okay, depending on what, you want to go with. If you want to go with the Arrow version, talking about the TV show, or if you want to go with another comic version, the League of Shadows. We start off with that. We start off with an attack. You would establish a well-established antagonist. Oh, and voice acting is also an important part in movies and other animations as well. And I'll get on that as well. You start a well-established antagonist in Deathstroke, Slade Wilson. He also has history. Batman. It's almost like you can watch this movie alone, but it also relates to previous established events. Batman being linked with, the mother, as well as being linked with Ra's al Ghul and the League of Assassins, or the League of Shadows. Good, you linking things up. You're not just throwing things out there, and so it doesn't make sense. And so a Batman fan like myself can say, okay, I get where you're coming from. I can get the point in the chronology. You're not remaking. And if you're gonna remake, you gotta remake based upon the characters and reshape the story. Like you have, I mentioned Arrow. You got the series of Flash. Gotham to a degree, all TV shows, okay? If you're gonna remake, you have to remake based on the characters, but you gotta really be creative, okay? You can't just do like half throwing things in there. That doesn't work. So, this follows a set point in the life of Batman. Well done. It makes Batman not this old man. Well done. Damian Wayne, his character made sense. Batman's character made sense. The mom's character all made sense. Dick Grayson, I'll get on Dick Grayson. They made sense. Alfred made sense. Everybody made sense. Slade made sense to a degree. Ra's al Ghul to a degree made sense. So when you look at it, the movie made sense. It was realistic. You could see this actually happening, actually occurring, whether you go off the comics or when you go in quote unquote our world. It could happen. Okay, believable. Deaths that should have happened pretty much happened. Dangerous situations. Yeah, there was a threat of death. Yes. No overpowered characters. Fine. Did they downplay? A little bit. Batman was downplayed a little bit. Freaking Dick Grayson, Nightwing was downplayed a little bit. Even though Damian Wayne can throw them hands, Nightwing was downplayed a little bit. Deathstroke and Ra's al Ghul were downplayed. Okay, that's the reality. They were downplayed. Unless you want to say Ra's al Ghul was just that old. That, artistic liberty, okay. Downplayed, but if you just want to say he's that old and he was pretty much on the brink of death and he couldn't be brought back with the Lazarus Pit, okay, I can accept that. Especially if you're trying to make this, into a further plot line. Alright, believable. It's believable. Deathstroke being that old, problematic. It's problematic, and I'll tell you why it's problematic. First of all, if he's that old, why is he not better? Like Damian Wayne's able. I know he was raised, but Damian Wayne should not be on par with Deathstroke. That's just a no. No. He took out his eye, man. Now, if you would have had Batman, maybe Nightwing. And the reason I say, look, or even the mom, Damian Wayne is skilled and as good as he is, as well taught as he is, and as much of a prodigy as he is, really? To be able to do that to Deathstroke? Nah, you making Damian Wayne. I know he's the son of Batman, but you making him too OP. You making him too overpowered. Come on now. This is Deathstroke we're talking about. And if you don't know why I'm putting it on. We're talking about a fighting genius. Same level. We're talking about a fighting genius, just like Batman. We're talking about someone who's, was a prodigy himself, more or less. Someone at this point in his life, if he's going to be old, he should be a grand master. He's an assassin. And why they got him taking off his mask? I don't understand it. That made no sense to me. None at all. None at all. So there was that factor. Batman's character, stoic, okay, on point. The detective, the Dark Knight, middle age. I like his look, his portrayal, and his as Bruce Wayne. I like that. The suit was on point. The Batmobile, fairly good. His advice to his son, he didn't try to be this overly father. You know how sometimes they introduce a child and then the father is either completely absent or doesn't know how to deal with situations or is like overly protective and stuff. He wasn't doing that. He knew who his son was. He knew his relationship with his son. He didn't know him. So what he did was, it was kind of a mentor friendship more than a father. I mean, he'll become more of a father figure, and as you see the movie progress, again, it's concise. It's kind of bubbling down what will be, several episodes, several chapters, several comic book issues, into kind of one condensed version. So it was done very well. Unfortunately, we didn't get too much interaction between him and Nightwing. Nightwing, you could see the kind of older brother who, not jealous, but it's like, yo, Youngblood. You ain't got your stripes yet. I really like that. Nightwing, unfortunately, he should have gotten more shine. He talked about the son of Batman. And it kind of didn't indicate Jason Todd or Tim Drake. So Nightwing definitely should have been more of a key factor. I mean, he came in and did his thing. You know, he's detective on work. You know, we didn't get much on him as the individual character. I understand that wasn't the focus of the movie, but he should have been more of a main character. We're talking, the title is the son of Batman. Dick Grayson was the ward, or how does it work? He was pretty much raised as a son, okay? Because after his parents' death. Just like, you know, Bruce had his taken away, more or less, Dick had his taken away. So there is that. We should have gotten more, like, I want to keep saying, I want to say Nightwing. Jeez, wrong universe. Anyway, we should have gotten more Nightwing, pure and simple. You know, we should have gotten more interaction between him and Damian. It would have made a lot of sense. It would have, you know, I like that tension that they did there. We should have gotten more of it. The movie, it could have went longer to include that, because that would have been important for both of their characters and establish, you know, the importance of everything. Who's the, you know, I still say the original and true Robin is Dick Grayson, pure and simple. Pure and simple. There has not been a Robin to replace Dick Grayson. They've all been like substitutes. The fact, you know, he established so much about him is iconic in the sidekick role. So take that for what it's worth. Mom, Talia, you know, Ra's al Ghul's daughter. Okay. She, you know, she put in that work. She was legit. It made sense. She should have easily she could have gotten killed at one time, but it is what it is. They kept her alive. People say plot. I understand why they kept her alive, because Slade Wilson be on that mastermind side, so it makes sense. But you know, again, she protected her son. She recognized as a mother. Why she didn't tell Batman, and Batman just accepted it, you know, because that's the kind of man he is. But why she didn't tell him, I have no idea. Why would you tell him he has a son? I mean, their whole relationship and her love relationship with Batman. She loves him. I don't know if it's more lust than love, but she loves him to a degree. But it's like, you can tell she's twisted in her mind. Just the fact that it's this sensual sexual relationship, and she wanted a child by him. But at the same time, she doesn't want that close, intimate relationship with him. But then she recognizes, yo, he's coming of age. He needs a father, and this is the best way to protect him and to train him. But he needs to be brought back to me in a league of assassins. So it's a whole complicated thing. Not like any other Batman's romantic relationships or other relationships aren't complicated. So it makes sense, you know, the psychological complexity and who really is this character. You know, you want to learn more about her, which was very well done. When it comes to Alfred, even when he's a side character or minor character, he's still on point. It's Alfred. It's Alfred. Come on. Alfred Pennyworth, once again, in his small role, still stands out. How many secondary and minor characters stand out as much as Alfred? Or sometimes he's a side character. Alfred Pennyworth, one of the greatest of all time. Really, he really is. Damon. Now, did I talk about Slade? I didn't talk about Ra's al Ghul. Okay. I think I talked mainly, you know, I talk a good amount about Deathstroke. Deathstroke, you know, he was nerfed. Like, let's keep it real. You know, if you hadn't gotten that memo in this entire video, he was nerfed. Pure and simple. He was nerfed. And so was Ra's al Ghul. Ra's al Ghul should have not got taken out like that. Makes sense, because you just can't kill this dude that simply. But to be taken out by explosion, come on, he should have been able to get out. I mean, the dude, here he is, he's able to dodge bullets, he's able to cut bullets. Like, come on. They couldn't touch this dude. And yet he gets taken out by explosion. That's a 50-50 one. Makes sense, but at the same time, this is Ra's al Ghul. Come on. And that he can't recover, again, if you want to say he's that old, okay. But this is Ra's al Ghul, who's been through the ringer for hundreds of years, for centuries. Come on now. Do you see Vandal Savage getting taken out that way? If you know Vandal Savage, you know what I'm talking about. I know he's immortal, but still, come on. Certain characters you can't take out that simple. Like, You got to take a whole army to this dude to take him out, and maybe take him out. So that's kind of, and he falls for that. Come on now, he could have killed Deathstroke. Like, let's keep it real. Deathstroke could have killed him. That one of those two should have went down. One of them should have killed the other. That's the reality. That's the reality of it. So it's something that definitely brings it down with the whole interaction and the fact he was taken out so early in the movie. That's I get it, but it's one of those tenuous situations. So it'll definitely bring the grade of the movie down. When it comes to Damian Wayne, mad cocky. This kid was cocky for no reason. Like, I understand you were raised, but I mean the servant. I mean, I understand his legal assent. How is this dude raised? Because servants, the way he knew, like, he was apparently told a hell of a lot. And Bruce just is like, hey, okay with it. I guess, he knew. Like, see, that was the whole thing. Damian knew too much. He's like, what, 18 years old? He knows so much. How? He's so skilled. How? We don't know. So that definitely takes it down. As much as they gave it back, like, it didn't make sense. I understand you can raise an assassin from birth, but come on. Like, we got to be reasonable. You gotta be reasonable. We're talking about he's going against freaking militant units. He's going against one of the greatest assassins in the world, in Slade Wilson, in Deathstroke. Come on. I'm supposed to buy that. A 10-year-old is supposed to be able to tangle with one of the greatest assassins in the world. And to stay with the Merc, and I understand the mindset, but then it's like, he wouldn't listen to Batman. And I know you don't know, but if you supposedly have all this intel, why the hell would you not listen to this dude? A dude who could kill you. They didn't do that. They didn't do that well. He was too cocky. He got humbled in a lot of ways. He screwed up in a lot of ways. He almost cost him in a lot of ways. But then he put in work when it counted. So, you could chalk it up to immaturity, but the way they wrote his character was not the greatest. It was not the greatest introduction, and it made him not very likable. He got more likable as the movie progressed, but they could have done better at the beginning. He was breaking out. He was his training and everything. His whole, I'm the son. I was raised by Ra's al Ghul. I'm this and that and da. Well, you're entering into a whole new world. You're entering into a completely different level of, opponents than even what you've been facing. You don't have that combat experience. So why the hell are you being so cocky? And plus, you're entering into opponents who don't think the way you do. Young blood. You ain't there yet. So there was that. It was good training, but could have done it better. They could have executed that better. The animation on point. It's a modern animation, but it's not like some where they like made it overly simplistic. They kept it cinematically. It was well done. Graphically, it was on point. The art style wasn't really ridiculous or anything of that matter. It fit towards the world. It was smooth transitions between everything. So overall, this movie, what did I give this movie? It's tough for me. I gotta say a 7.5 out of 10. It wasn't a great movie. I gotta say it was. Let's see, it was a solid. It was not outstanding. What's my 7 out of? I ain't giving a 7.5 out of 10 forever. It's not solid, not great. It's not good. I'll say excellent. 7.5 is excellent. I had to think about ratings. I think it was an excellent movie. It set out to do what it needed to do. There were areas it definitely could have improved on, as I've mentioned to a repeated degree in this video. I definitely recommend anything I give above a good. I definitely recommend watching, especially if you're a Batman fan. I'm critical of it for good reason, but it's still, as a movie in of itself, it's a good movie. Hands down, it's a good movie. But if we're also, it's the fact that it's a Batman movie, we have to take that into consideration. It isn't just this random movie that you put it standalone. It's part of the Batman series, the Batman world, the Batman universe. So we have to take all those points into consideration. Characters, how they should be, and whatnot. Overall, it really did an excellent job. At some points, it was more outstanding than others. At some points, it was less outstanding. So it is what it is. Unexpected Wonder, like, comment, subscribe. Tell me your thoughts on the movie. If you've seen the movie. If you haven't, I definitely recommend go watching it. And until next time, you'll have a beautiful day, beautiful night. Peace.